violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
I've been around since Xbox Live's inception. It was way worse.
Way worse.
You talking about Halo?
And imagine,
Didn't they have
getting-
Call of Duty.
Then they lose your boy. What's
Gears
your
of
boy
War.
from? God, what's your boy from Illinois that was playing for the Heat?
Name
Myers Leonard. They lost him. The one word, one message came out. His word. We can't. I googled him the other day.
Hey, he
I
got
couldn't even
canceled.
find no information on him. I was like, where's he at, bro?
They wiped him from the internet.
We're careful now because we can figure out who you are. We know your screen name. We can find out where you live. The whole 9 yards. Back then, we didn't know what we didn't know. That online was the wild, wild west, and these little kids and grown men had no problem calling you exactly what they thought you was immediately.
Little English 13-year-old man just going at you. I'm on the other side of the controller, like.
And they is hitting you with the hard R. They don't care. They don't say the they don't act like they're your friend. They is hard R you to the grave. Because if you beat them, they like that's why your dad left. They hitting everything. Like they don't care, bro. It's funny.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is that overall, black people in general, we're just too damn sensitive, man. Like we will take anything and try and catch a white person in a gotcha moment, when the reality is internally we have so many issues that we just gloss overlook, especially when it comes to the crime. See, on my channel, I specifically cover crime in the inner cities, all across America. And the majority of the perpetrators of a lot of these violent crimes are African-American men. So I think the biggest issue is that we're trying to go over here and try and catch this white person in a gotcha moment, try and catch it. And we forget the sticks and stones rule. Whereas when we're over here robbing, stealing, killing, then we just overlook it. It's like it's not even a story. And the reason why I know it's not a story is because even with the Mayor Eric Adams situation, he said cracker and whatnot. Yeah. And oh, my bad.
Well, he said it might be okay. It's okay, right?
Okay. I don't even, the definition. I saw in the comments. I'm in the cut draw Black Gen, but the definition of that is it's the sound that the whip made as it hit your back. That's what that's what that word is from. Right. I don't know what was said in the comments earlier, but the origins of that word is that's the sound the whip made as it came across your neck. Right. So and they didn't want them to come get you.
It's still a derogatory term.
I'm with you.
It's still a derogatory term toward. It's the equivalent of the N-word toward white people. If you go to Miami, in Broward County, which I just left a couple weeks ago, black people are still calling white people cracker to their face, to the police, to anybody.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, dang on, George Jefferson used to call him. He's the only man I know in New York to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not even mad at it. It doesn't make me feel any type of way. But the fact that we're in such an uproar and an outrage, especially when it comes to Joe Rogan, when he is a comedian, he's literally a comedian. So along with the podcast and all that other stuff, look, like I'm 26 years old. As you can see, my name's Black Gen Z Mindset. I'm Generation Z, bro. When you go to the club, all the white people are saying the N-word. Yo, my nigga, what's good? Da, 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 da. If I had to fight every white person that said the N-word, I would be in prison right now.
No, I mean, all you got to do is go to the concert and they get to that part where they turn the music off. The whole place say the word. Every last person in there say it.
Right. So it's like, I just think we are way too damn sensitive. Like, of course, say, okay, yeah, you shouldn't be saying the word and whatnot. But to go on this tirade and try and spam his accounts and try and get him taken off of Spotify and all that kind of stuff, overall, his podcast has done more good than bad, especially when it comes to the information and the people that he has on the podcast, and the information that he puts out.
Okay.
But do you think that's black people? Really?
I
Is
was
that
just
really
gonna
black
say, I don't
people
know that
calling
many
for his
black people
cancellation?
just like-
I don't think it is. I think that's the powers
That's
that be.
corporation.
Yeah, some of that is
That's
some feminine
corporation.
corporation
Look at
energy.
India
Yeah,
Irie. Look at India
that's
Irie.
exactly. That's
Nah,
corporations and India Irie.
Nope.
That's
See,
it.
when they started calling for his cancellation, it started off with the CV. It started off with the beer bug. It started off by him bringing on people who were against the procedure, against the injection. That's what the outrage started off with. And then they go back into his catalog and find the clips of him saying the N-word over 20 times. See, it started off with the COVID stuff. And then
Hey, don't say that word.
Yeah, my bad. The beer bug stuff. Then it transitioned to this when India Irie took her music off of Spotify. And then they're like, okay, now the black people are going to jump on, and then we're going to add to the cancellation as well. So some of it is the powers that be, the corporate, when it comes to the CV. But when it comes to the N-word, that clip has been out for years. Those clips, even the compilation, has been out for years. I saw that compilation like 5 years ago, before he even got the Spotify deal. So
yeah, and it's over a course of years too. It's not like he does that every show.
It's not like he said it 20 times on one podcast.
Right.
It's a conglomeration of clips of him saying the N-word out of context. And that's really what it is. Like, it wasn't like he was calling anybody the N-word. Obviously he was using the hard R, and you can have a conversation about it, but to me, it's just not even worth cancellation. It's not even worth going out and protesting and doing all this stuff when we have bigger issues.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Do you let white people say it to you?
So I play football. I play all types of sports.
You from Florida, right? Too. I play with a lot of dudes from Florida.
Yeah. So, like, when you're in the context of a brotherhood, a sport, and all that kind of stuff, most dudes are not gonna say it in general. Okay. But when you go out to a bar or a club, and then there's a drunk white boy, and he's like, yo, whatever. I'm like, yo, chill. Yeah, I mean, don't be calling me that, but we could still have a good time. I'm not gonna brush him off and be like, oh, well, you're racist because you said, yo, what's good, my N-word, da 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 da. Like, in my generation, it's not that deep. Seriously.
All right, that's cool. I'm just from a different generation. I just don't routinely have white people using that word in my presence, and they think it's okay.
I mean, it's not routine. Like,
it just doesn't happen to me, bro. It's
not routine, but at the same time, if you're going out to a club, which I go out to club like every weekend.
So it ain't happening.
Well, I go out every weekend, and there's majority of the people in the club usually are white dudes in certain bars that you go into, and it's not like they just gonna come, hey, you can't be in here, da da da. They're embracing you. Hey, let me buy you a drink. You singing the songs. There's hip hop music going on, so it's not like I'm just like, oh yeah, call me the N-word. No, it's like I'm not going to be like, yo, F you, I'm gonna fight you because you called me the N-word. Like, especially if I know that they did not they weren't using it with malice intent.
I mean, Gen Z, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not with you. Okay, I went to a Big Ten university, I went to a Catholic all-boy high school in the Chicagoland area, so I know what you're saying, but why is it that that's where they want to meet us? A drunk white dude running the bar and see me, and he want to give me a hug because this is somebody I used to know. Why is his intro, oh, Kyle, what up, my nigga? What's going on? Like, nah,
because as a community, we've created confusion. We've created confusion and have normalized the word where it's in every single hip hop song. We say it to each other ad nauseum. Like, so we've created confusion, and we use the word around other white people. We will call each other that around other white people. I don't say the N-word around
we'll call white people that word.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
that N-word over there.
You don't hear Jewish people calling themselves whatever Miles Turner or Leonard
we're
said.
The only one
or
who
whatever. Like, even if they did say it, it would be only when they're by themselves.
or they're
You know what
messing
I mean?
around playing with each other. We're the only ones who have used a derogatory racial slur and have turned it to a term of endearment. So I'm not justifying the word. I'm not saying that, oh, we should just let them say it and all this kind of stuff. I'm just saying we have created so much confusion that the lines are blurred, and the younger generations.
What's confusing about it? Because I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm not confused about what magic words I can and can't say about certain groups and certain letter organizations of backgrounds in public without having my finances ruined. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I cannot on this broadcast right now start talking about the alphabet mafia. That's gonna go left. You know what I'm saying? I cannot talk about
it all. I do it.
I don't agree.
But here's the thing, right? If I ever intend to work W2 ever again, I cannot do that.
Anyway,
you cannot do that, bro.
If the LGBT
it's just not true.
If the LGBT community started coming out with popular hit, let's just use Lil Nas for whatever, and he just starts dropping the F word, the G word, all type of LGBTQ slur words in his music, and somehow he normalizes to make it seem cool in the next 5 to 10 years, and then everybody starts saying it or start trying to call gay people this and gay people that. LGBTQ people don't look at it confusing why everyone's saying it, because you made it so popular and it seems cool now, or it seems like it's probably not what it was, and now it seems like it's like the trend and hippie word to say, especially when you're around those people. And like I said, it's not even just hip-hop. We literally say it around them day to day, to their face, to each other, in context. It don't matter what it is. I hear people just say nigga just to say nigga anytime they can say it, any type of context. If they're talking about a random guy, like I could be talking to a coworker, but like, yeah, that nigga over there, like he's drunk as hell, and we could just be, I'm not even talking to him about me, I'm talking about somebody else. We just say it with no remorse, no thought process. We just say it, and then at some point, they're, like I said, if they want a conversation, is why they can't say it in any context.
And then the small pushback even is, the regional area. Like, I'm from Bronx, New York. Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, like, we grew up together. You know what I mean? As family. They said the word. I had no problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're from the diaspora. I'm not gonna get my feelings about that. I consider people from they're from the diaspora. Dominicans didn't get
right.
Magically, dog. Somebody brought them here.
But here's the flip. But here's the flip side. Then I came to school in the South. All black college in the South. And then, I mixed that crowd, my friends from the Bronx, with the South, and they hear them saying that, and they're looking at them like, yo, that's cool. And, to me, I'm thinking it, but, depending on the region you at, they looking at you like, yo, why are you saying that word? You know what I mean?
Imagine you going to California or you live in New York. You're going to get two different perspectives. You grew up in Brooklyn or Bronx as a white man, and all your friends is black or Hispanic, and everybody's just saying nigga. And then you go to California where it's progressive and whatever, and you try to call black people nigga there or white people nigga there, and you're a white guy. It's like,
my thing is, if blacks and Mexicans are warring in the prisons, warring in the streets, then why are we giving them a pass? And you said they were brought here. No, they immigrated here. They chose to come here.
Wait. Who chose to come?
Mexicans.
No, I said the reason why I don't get out of pocket or get in my feelings if somebody of a Dominican or Puerto Rican or something like that background uses the word.
What about Mexican?
They are black. Mexicans ain't black, bro.
So if a Mexican said the N-word, you would be tight about it.
There was no slavery in Mexico, therefore there are no black people there, sir.
There's slavery right now in Mexico. The cartels are enslaving their own people.
I mean, Black Gen Z, to give you some context, Jennifer Lopez had, back when she was messing with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. and them in the 2000s, she had 2 songs where she said the N-word, caught crazy backlash, and she has not done it again. And I'm pretty sure she's Latino descent. Fat Joe and the Terror Squad and them, they would say it in their raps. It wasn't always okay for them to be doing that. Big Pun, we had a bunch of love for our Latino rappers, but it wasn't necessarily something that we was like, oh yeah, make sure you put that in there too. And even to this day,
they're still saying it though.
Right. But I mean, I was actually going to interject, earlier, Black culture and Black people, it is the easiest culture to appropriate. It is the easiest culture to take from and use as your own thing without very much backlash because of the lack of influence that Black people have when it comes to this whole cancel culture. Cancel culture is really more of a feminine thing, you know, it's really driven by women and by corporations. Black males really don't necessarily participate nationally in cancel culture. However, because of that reason, we really don't necessarily defend when other cultures come in. We might not like it at an individual level, or when we get together like this and say, you know, we really don't like it when Asians in California or, you know, Latinos in
But nobody's
California
stepping to
or
them,
whatever
though.
it is. Well, I mean, when you talk about nobody, that's my entire point. The Black community as a collective isn't even necessarily unified on this point. So it's not like we can then collectively step to the Latino community and tell them to stop. Add that to the fact that hip hop culture is so spread within corporations to
And that's the
everyone.
confusion that I'm talking about.
I know, but we can't then also step in and do anything about it because
What
we're
he's
not even
saying,
unified.
it's not about confusion, it's about power. They want to know why they don't have the power to say it. They're not confused at all about what that word means and why they can and can't say it. They're not confused.
I'm not saying that they're confused
You know
about.
they know exactly what that word means. It's just they want to have the authority to use it without recourse.
I'm
and
not
there
saying
are words in our language about people and groups that, for whatever reason, you are not going to say that word out loud in public and be in good standing in American culture. I asked Myers Leonard what magic word he used where he can't go nowhere near a basketball court right now, bro.
Well, I'm not saying that they have confusion over the definition and the historical context of the word. I'm saying they have confusion over the fact that we have normalized it to the point where it's almost impossible for them to sing their favorite song without saying.
You want to be honest with you, bro? We don't know. You ask 10 Black people 10 questions, that same question, you get 10 different answers. We don't know. But just because we don't know, don't mean that you can just come into the party and get to explain it to us too. It's like watching a family have a disagreement on the front porch. If the family's having a disagreement on the front porch, that don't mean bring your ass up them stairs and start swinging too, bro.
Hey man, just don't say it. I take that mindset. That's the mindset I take. I don't even say the word, man. So don't even come with me with that bullshit. Don't come around me, talk to me like that. Don't say it to me.
But you know, most Black men say the N-word.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, I'm not most Black men, my brother. I'm an individual, so I don't give a shit.
We're talking in generalities, though.
You right, but hey, you can always change your mindset, my man. You can always change your mindset.
I'm not directing this at you individually. I'm talking about in general. We have accepted the word as a term of endearment. Majority of us. Okay, even if a Black dude came up to you today, you're not gonna have the same smoke for him if he said, "Yo, what's good, my nigga?" Like da 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 da, whatever.
Wait. We accept that term of endearment amongst each other. Your mom can call you your childhood nickname, but Hink can't walk up and call you your childhood nickname. You may be able to walk up to other Black people and say, "What's up, my nigga?" whatever it is, but you can't walk up to maybe a bunch of gay people and use a gay slur to them. You can't walk up to a bunch of women and say, "What's up, all my bees?" even though these are words that we all normalize, and we might even say them in our home to each other, to our loved ones or close friends or whatever. But out in public, you can't not that you can't, but it's frowned on, really. People do get tight when you walk up to someone or a group of people into a subculture that you're really not part of. You may want to be, you may genuinely have love for that culture. You may genuinely have, you may want to really be part of it. And you think this is how I get in with them good because this is what they do. But really, you don't do that with other cultures. It's really only Black culture where people say, "Well, y'all do it, so how come I can't do it? Y'all call each other the B word. Why can't I call y'all the B word? Y'all call each other, you know what I mean?
Try to get real in there.
Yes, girl, and all this stuff. Why can't we do that?" And so that's really just it's kind of a self-serving response. You think that just because you're you, that you should be able to do and say and participate and jump in and out of cultures as you want to, because those members make it cool. If I'm not part of a fraternity, I can't just jump in and start doing the handshake. Well, y'all do it and I want to be cool like y'all cool. Well, no, this isn't necessarily for you. I have to get over that. I can't tell you to accept me. I have to accept the fact that y'all don't want me doing certain things. And so I'm not necessarily saying that anybody's a bad person, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you that we use it so much in music and pop culture, and you know what I mean, it's starting to be put on t-shirts soon enough. So we have definitely added to the confusion, but I don't think that people are young people are not confused on the controversy. They just want to be able to do it. It's, you know, that it's really tied into a larger issue of entitlement from younger people wanting to just participate in every culture that
younger white people or everybody.
I mean, if we want to be honest, you know, how much culture appropriating do black people do of other people's cultures? You really don't hear, you know, Latino people trying to do, you know, a lot of Asian culture. You really don't hear a lot of Jewish people trying to jump into Latino culture.
Look at Asian doll. Look at Nicki Minaj, Roman Reigns. Look, we have black entertainers who appropriate other cultures all the time.
Like be more specific. Nicki Minaj, like how? Go on, elaborate.
Her alter ego is Roman Reigns. She's not from Rome. She's not from Italy. Asian doll. Cuban doll. She's not Cuban. She's mulatto.
So you're saying that if the Cubans came out or Asian doll, okay, let's go with Asian doll. So you think that if the Asian community came out together and said, we don't like that her name is Asian doll, you don't think that they would make her change her name? Her name would be changed today.
No, it would not.
Her name was Black Doll, and it was an Asian.
Do you know what's happening in New York City?
That stuff would not happen.
Do you know what happened in New York City? Have you ever heard of the Stop Asian Hate Crime Bill?
Yes.
That bill is specifically targeted at black people committing hate crimes against Asians.
Okay.
Do you know what happened in New York City 2 weeks ago? A homeless black dude pushed an Asian woman onto the train. His justification was, I'm God. So there are hate crimes going. A couple weeks ago, there was a 54-year-old Asian man who was beat down by another black man. So, these guys are all being charged with hate crimes. So this Stop Asian Hate bill was specifically targeted to black people who are committing hate crimes against Asians. Okay, so they can't even defend themselves. Y'all mentioned the affirmative action with Harvard. They had to go through a whole lawsuit. This has been happening for decades, where they've been discriminated against because they've been outperforming
it's a lot
other.
Better than
wait,
German
what you're doing right now? What you're doing right now?
What?
Wait. What you're doing right now is proving my point. You're proving my point.
Hey, Black Gen Z, I look like this. If they got a bill passed, they are defending themselves.
Right.
They doing what they have to do.
It's easy to appropriate and to take from and abuse and do whatever you need to do to black culture. But as soon as you start to victimize other cultures in any way, they get a crime bill immediately after, directed at black folks, according to your words, to keep us from doing something. So it just goes really back to my original point.
But we're getting bills passed too. Like, the thing
I don't
is,
disagree
people
with
aren't
what
really
you're
messing
saying.
with us on that level, physically.
Say again?
People are not, like, other groups are not messing with us physically on that level.
That doesn't necessarily have anything to do.
They don't have to. They mess with our pockets.
How? What white man has stopped you from doing anything that you ever wanted to do in your life?
Well, ask Brian Flores that question, then, my brother.
I want to get real in there real quick.
Yeah,
go ahead, Rilla.
Go ahead, Rilla.
I'm just curious. I'm listening to the young blood speak, and I'm just really trying to understand more, because I'm not confused about who can say nigga and who can't. It's never been confusing. I got sons that are coming up, and I agree with Generation Z when Gen Z said that for your generation it's not a big deal. You guys are probably the most integrated group of young adults that have ever existed on the face of the planet, right? So at what point do y'all draw the line? What becomes unacceptable where other races can't say or can't do? What can't they do or say around you?
They can't physically assault me. I mean, they can't insult me.
Let me be more specific there, because that's anybody. That's most men, right? They can't physically assault you. As it pertains to your race or what you identify as, what could another group of people outside of your race say or do to you that you would find unacceptable, and you would feel that you'd have to step up and defend yourself?
I just go back to
if it's like nigga in certain situations. What I understood you saying is you've been in situations where other people have called you nigga and you was cool with it in certain situations. You didn't necessarily.
I mean, it's not necessarily that I'm cool with it. I told them, yo, you know what I'm saying? We ain't on that type of time. I don't know you like that, but I'm not gonna be like,
right.
Like if a white dude come up to me in the club and say, hey, yo, what's good, my nigga? Let me buy you a drink, whatever,
That's okay.
I'm gonna check him, but I'm not gonna be like, shit, I'm not finna take this.
But you're gonna accept that drink though.
Wait, hold on. Jizzy, I gotta push back. Are you being honest with us when you say you was in a situation where a dude walked up to you on the club and you might have said, hey, fall back, whatever. You said you really checked him where he understood and he hasn't done it since.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, man, you know what we call cats like that, man? We call them.
Wait,
we call them white Negroes.
Hold on.
Sit there and accept.
Here we go.
Sit there and accept the drink.
Here we go.
No, dog.
So you want to go to prison? You want to go to prison over somebody?
No, my man. Let me finish, my brother. Let me finish. You gonna sit there and accept this drink after this man just called you the N-word and talk about, hey, no, hell no, dog. Say, hey, man, I appreciate that. I'm good, dog.
Because I'm not.
Buy one of these other dudes. Buy one of these other Toms a drink. That ain't what I want.
Can I explain a little bit? Because I'm also young. Hold on. Rilla asked about the young guys, and I'm trying to give him some clarity about how we're thinking. Young guys, especially black men, we are currently viewing how you guys have moved, how you guys have been talked about, how black men have basically been described growing up. Either you're in jail, you're down low, or you ain't ish. So we've done our best to avoid either being in jail, being perceived as ain't shit, or ain't trying to be nowhere close to being perceived as down low. And so what we've done is instead of getting mad at every situation where we can't control how a person is acting or talking, especially if it's not even worth the time, like he's actually trying to pick a fight with me, we don't really give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to pick a fight with this guy, like I said, I never got into a fight in high school because a lot of people wanted to fight me. But in my mind, I'm like, why am I going to get into a fight with a guy for 5 seconds? He's going to fuck up my future. Now I can't actually prove anything because I got into a fight with a guy over a word, or he's talking names, or he's trying to instigate something. Like Black Gen Z said, if the guy came up to him like, what's good, my nigga? Let me buy you a drink. You'd be like, chill. But you can understand that he's trying to be cool with you and he's going to buy you a drink. And regardless, you'd be like, all right, whatever, I'll take the drink and walk away. Or I know him, I'll take the drink and I tell him, don't do that again. I have a friend that's in my close friend group and he thought he had the audacity to say the N-word. Me and my other boy Slade jumped this nigga. You not about to say the N-word in front of us and think you can still be cool with us, like actually friends with us where you can hang around us every day, text us, and we're going to have your back, especially if you're a white boy. But if you just a random white boy and you just saying it and you're not trying to pick a fight with me, we don't have time that day to be picking a fight with you either. We got other shit to do in our brains.
But you ain't got to pick a fight. You can also explain to the man. You can educate that man.
Well, hold on.
You ain't got to pick a fight. You can send a message by not accepting the man's drink. That's going to send a bigger message to anything.
Gen Z, we'll get the last word, Gen Z, and then we'll try to get a couple other people in here. But go ahead, Gen Z, get your last word.
I'm just saying, if nobody came at me in a disrespectful manner, I don't give a damn about a word, bro. I'm not one of these emotional dudes who gonna lash out. Oh, he said the N-word. I'm just gonna nut up. Like, there is a context to everything. Okay, I'm from the South. I've been on the street where somebody might drive by and say the N-word. That's a disrespectful thing. If I'm in the club, everybody's drunk, everybody's sauced up, and then a dude, yo, what's good, man? Whatever. I know that he has no malice in the way that he's approaching me, so I'm not going to go and get offended. How is it disrespectful?
So when that dude, let me ask, I was talking to Anton. Just because he ride by and called me that, and then the dude called me that, saying hello, what's up, ma? That ain't disrespectful. The word is still the word. The definition
Is it
doesn't
disrespectful?
change.
Is it
If
okay?
the definition doesn't change,
all things
it
being
still
equal,
means the same.
all things being equal, the definition doesn't change. Is it disrespectful when a black man calls you the N-word? Is it disrespectful? Okay, well that's you, but majority of people.
I said that.
You said that, okay, and you stand on that. But you're gonna have the same response. You're gonna have the same response to a black man who calls you the N-word as a white man because it's just a word.
I don't like it, dog.
But are you going to have the same response?
You said yourself that you're the minority.
And it could be the case.
You still haven't answered my question. You still have not answered the question.
Calm down, young blood. Calm down, young blood. I'm gonna answer your question.
Well, I mean, you can raise your voice and it's all fine. And then when I raise my
Go
voice,
ahead, brother.
it's calm down, young blood.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead, my brother. You good? Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad. You right.
So I'm saying, are you going to have the same response to a white man who calls you the N-word as a black man? Like if a black man came, yo, what's good, my nigga? I'm gonna buy you a drink. You know what I mean? Da 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 da.
But dog, the example you just gave. You gave two white people calling you that. You didn't say one was black, one was white.
No,
you said
that.
Yes, you did. No, you said a white dude riding down the street in the South called you the N-word. Then you said some white boy came up to you in the club talking about what's up, my N-word, and buying me a drink. What's the damn difference?
Two different scenarios.
No, they both Caucasians.
Two different scenarios. It's two different scenarios in two different contexts.
I'm not accepting neither one of them.
One is okay. So what are you gonna do? Okay, so
as an individual,
you can't do anything about somebody riding by and calling you a name. Okay,
you're right. I can't. But that dude that came up to the club, I can have a conversation.
And I did have a conversation. I checked him. I said, "Hey, yo, we're not on that."
But I wouldn't accept the drink. You accepted the drink. I wouldn't have.
Because I'm not tied to my emotions on some, oh well, just because he said that means he's a racist guy. And no, I'm gonna have a drink, I'm gonna have a conversation with him, and it's gonna lead me to another opportunity. I'm always open for a conversation. I'm always open for a conversation.
You can be bought.
Let me
you can be bought.
How is that being bought?
I want to ask him the one.
Nigga, you gonna bail out every black? Are you gonna bail out every black boy that gets into a fight over the N-word because you want us to fight over it?
No. Here's the thing.
Are you gonna be so supportive of us to fight this word? Are you gonna bail us out when we go to jail?
Sway, and
appreciate you, Gen Z. Thank you, man.
There.
Sway and Gen Z. Let me ask y'all a question. And I think it's more really Gen Z, but he gone now. So what can I do? Why is a white guy comfortable coming to him and using that word when men my age, white men don't do that?
Just try to get rid of it. Like I said, that's more the mindset of me. Like it's really not a conversation not to be had on why they want to use the word or what they need to use the word for. Like we just need to just not be using the word because in the beginning it was just a negative. Everything about it was negative.
So if they can't use the word, then we need to stop using the word and stop normalizing it.
I just said that.
But are you gonna check your black friends who say the N-word around you? No. Then you're part of the problem.
It depends. It
depends now.
It depends on the situation. Because like that's why I did agree, like what y'all were saying, like the younger generation, like you just can't go around just checking everybody or whatever. That's why I was saying like it's kind of like one of those things, like a way to be a part of the solution is not to be a part of it and try to influence in that manner. And then like if you know who you can in a way like you was asking me, like someone around me or people around me using the word or whatever, it's some people I might say that to it, and it's some people I know I'm gonna get a certain type of energy out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody be like, you can't tell me what to say or whatever. But like it's like one of those things, like you just gotta not do it, and whoever you feel like you can correct it or like if you mentoring somebody younger or whatever, and you can and like point them in the right direction until then or whatever. I mean, I believe that's like one of those things, like that's how you're gonna have to move with this particular word, because it's so big and it's hard to you ain't gonna be able to put that genie light back in the bottle to a certain extent.
And honestly, I think that I mean, I'm not going to try to speak on all black people because I really don't know what they believe, but this is just my assumption. I think a lot of black people enjoy using the word from the simple fact that we don't allow nobody else to use it. And we enjoy using it every day. We enjoy using it around white people. We enjoy using it whenever to make them feel uncomfortable. We enjoy it just whenever. We just enjoy the word. So to ask a black man, like, don't say that, it's like, I hear you, but like some deep in my heart, I just like enjoy it because I feel some type of way. You know what I mean? And like they're not going to say it regardless.
Cuban
Damn, like
They're
Libertarian,
not
I
going to
want to
stop
get you
saying
in
it
here
word.
too.
regardless.
Bro, I want to get you. I know you didn't walk about 3-4 miles in the back pew, so I want to get you
I
into
was
it,
like,
bro.
where is
Cardio
this
in,
dude
goddamn.
My
going,
man,
bro?
my man walked the
God
whole
damn.
marathon, so
Come
I
on.
want to get him in there. I want to get him in there.
Hey guys, how's it going? Much love. Always love, the panel and the network and everybody. Um, so I'm not a black American, right? But I was raised in Miami. Everybody uses the N word.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And if you ever listen to Jordan Peterson when he talks about the atheists, he says, you may not believe in God, but in your everyday life, you act as if. And that is, I think, analogous to black people saying, I don't want people to say the N word, but in your everyday life, you act the opposite. You don't really care. There was some talk about the old heads. Um, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but the teenagers act the way they do today because the old heads taught them that. I don't think many of the old heads on the panel spend their weekends sitting by the fireplace, sipping brandy and listening to blues and jazz. We know what type of music we like.
Hey,
We're all
wait a
wearing
minute
hoodies.
now.
Hey, 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 stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Facts.
Okay?
Or when you're in a car,
You're not listening to
Exactly.
clean music. All the hip
Eh,
hop music that you listen to says the N
you ain't
word.
listening to Christian gospel and
Thank you. Thank you. There may be
whatever
some
it is.
My man
exceptions,
got
but
one record. He got one record. Boy, you don't
so
have that on your
Okay, but
iTunes
wait.
playlist. Stop
Let
it.
me ask y'all a question.
Oh, but I
So,
do.
are y'all trying to say that we're like the culture has made it to where we're incapable of separating how to speak due to how entertainment impacts us? So you're saying that because I listen to a lot of rap music as a white person, I'm bound. It's inevitable that I walk up to a black person and say what up, whatever. You're saying that
You're
is inevitable.
you're acting
no,
like they're
wait.
just walking up to black people saying it. They're saying it amongst each other. They're using it as a term of endearment with each other. So when they go out into the real world, they're not separating the two. It's the
Yeah.
reality. Like I mean,
If you want to be equal, you want to be treated as an equal human being, then you cannot be surprised when other human beings that have a different skin color relate to you as equal, right? And then they act accordingly. Oh, amongst black people, which are human beings like me, they say this word. Well, I'm a white person with other white human beings. I can say the word because we're all human beings. You're equal. So there you go.
what about a mixed
You're
person?
being imitated. You're
We
being
get
celebrated.
we let mixed people say the N word all the time. Why don't they just say half of it?
Nigga.
First of
Why
all,
are they
goddamn,
allowed to say the
you
whole
let them
thing?
people say that. You let
Yeah,
white
you
people
do
say that.
that.
You
You let
accept
people
that.
say that.
You're the only
Nah, I don't.
black person I've ever met who doesn't allow other black people to say the N word around him.
Bro,
Well, but
Nah, there's others.
I'm holding
he has
y'all,
a
There's
deep
I'm
others.
voice
holding
and a
all
And
big
they're
y'all
50
beard.
accountable
years
because
old.
I am
They're 50
African
years
and
old.
y'all not checked me once. I'm
Sway, just
African as
cause.
hell.
He
Sway,
No
sounds
one
what?
like
has
a very
checked me
tall
on this
man.
panel. No one say
Sway,
stop saying that, nigga. Stop. No,
Sway, but
y'all
look
haven't
here,
checked
man.
me once. I'm African.
There's a way you do. You, when we say check, people always go straight aggressive when you say check. I'm not gonna say
No
I'm
one's
not
told
gonna
me to.
check you. I'm not gonna try to check you. I'm gonna educate you.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to
Bro,
do. I'm
it's
gonna educate you.
different.
I'm gonna
It's
educate
different
these
when you
white boys.
educate and when like a very short, Asian man tries to educate me. I'm sorry.
Well, wait.
And that
So
may be
let
the
me ask
case.
y'all another question. The question to Black Z, Sway, Cuban Libertarian, even Action, because I want to be able to get y'all in here. So if no one says anything to correct the behavior, you're saying that they are okay with it, even though Black Gen Z, you said, if somebody walks up to me, I might say, don't say that to me, but I'm also not going to refuse their drink, right? So then where is the real correction at? You know what I'm saying? And then Sway, when you say it, how you say it, what will be an appropriate way to correct you? Because Hink then already said he doesn't really prefer that word. So now is it on you, Sway, to not say it after Hink done already said he's not for it? Or is it on Hink Hink to keep checking you about it and make it into something to get confrontational over.
Look,
Because
if
somebody
Exactly.
is, you know, you it
Now,
seems
if
like
you're
what
talking
you're
to me
saying
as a
is
light
get
skin
into
and
an
you're talking to
argument.
me, the difference between me, I think, or I guess the tricky thing about light skin is that you can either grow up white or you can grow up black. And I think that's true. I think there are a lot of Africans who grow up white and a lot of Africans who grow up black. And the way you hear them talk, the way you hear them move, the way you hear them assimilate themselves amongst black people, you can tell if they really about being with y'all, or you can tell if they really like, I'm just here because I kind of want to see what it feels like. Like, I grew up coming out of a black woman. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood of what I could amongst white people. I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in the Bronx. Most of my life has been in an impoverished area amongst black or Hispanic people. And so I assimilate myself amongst black people. I don't consider myself white. I just bring it up as the point because, when we're talking about white people, I mean, I feel like I could give a little bit different perspective since, I'm not as fully racially biased, where I'm just full black and I've never hung around white people, my dad's not white, or been around white families to hear what they talk about or move or whatever it is. Like, I bring that perspective up because I know a lot about what they think, but in the end all be all, I claim myself as black. They claim me as black. They don't think I'm anywhere close as a white person. I say nigga this, I cuss, I'm a little bit more aggressive, I'm tall, whatever it is. Like, they don't think of me as white. No one in the world would ever look me in the face and say you're a white man. Now, I do have a best friend who's 6'8", and his mom is white and his dad is black. His dad is black as hell. And no one I went to his college, no one thought he was a black man because he had a lighter skin than me. He didn't have rough hair. He's more straight down. Everyone thought he was a white man or Asian.
And he was saying the N-word, right?
He said the N-word, but he don't say it like me. He even him, he says it like it's kind of like he can say it, but you can hear it still, and you're not gonna check him for it because he is black and it is what it is. But like, you can always tell when the difference between a African who's been assimilated and grew up in the culture and one that's kind of been outside the culture and is trying to see what it feels like, or they took steps in because they really like being on the white side because it's more comfortable. Whatever.
And I feel you, but I guess my question. Let me say my question.
So again, I'm going to say it regardless, as long as until we come to as collective that we're going to stop saying it to end it, instead of me saying it in the term of endearment like we say it amongst each other, because I don't really say it amongst white people, and I don't.
It's not going to happen.
And I don't. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to keep saying it regardless.
Yeah.
But
look,
unless we can come to a consensus where we're on board to not say it at all, I don't know how you're going to hold me accountable when all y'all are saying it.
Remember that?
No. So what I'm saying is, Hink said he doesn't like the word. He don't say the word, and he would rather people not say it around him. Right?
Yeah.
We didn't establish that. So who is it now on? Now that that's been established, is it on you, Sway, to not say it around Hink, or is it on Hink to keep checking you about it? How many times?
No, it's on me. If I'm Hink's friend, if I'm Hink's brother, if I'm Hink's, I'm trying to be friends with him, and for whatever reason he doesn't like the word, then I got to stop saying it.
Okay,
so he's already laid his ground rules.
His boundaries.
He already laid his boundaries, and if I want to respect his boundaries and be his friend, then I got to stop saying it, or he can walk away himself and not be friends with me anymore.
You would be as ridiculous as that rapper that pulled up that white guy to sing the song, and then when the white guy said the N-word at the time of that song, he kind of like chastised him for it in the concert.
He talking about Kendrick Lamar when he brought the white boy on stage. And
that moment, are you prepared to have a lifetime of those moments?
I mean, this is the thing. How you feel about the word, like Hink expressed how he felt about the word. People in his circle have to adjust to that. I mean, he may have people in his circle
he doesn't have to be part of the circle.
I mean,
he has people in his circle that know he doesn't like the word. So if they respect him, they will adjust accordingly to maintain that. They may still say the word in other forums, but around him, they know how he feel about it, so they adjust accordingly. White people shouldn't be saying the word.
Look, man, you cannot do this because it would mean that you lack integrity.
No, what you're telling me I can't do, I can do, and I've done it. You know what I'm saying? You're not able
fine,
to say
but you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
No,
that's where the confusion comes from. That's where the confusion comes from.
My thing is, you personally, Gen Z, if you feel comfortable or disrespected when the word is said to you, you have to deal with that on your own personal level. Everybody has their subcultures of people that they deal with where it needs to accommodate them. So in your subculture and your people that you hang around, if that's something that's a general consensus that you're fine with them saying that, that's how you live your life. Me, there's gonna be I have my boundaries. Just like
But you
Hank
say
said,
it right,
he
though.
has his boundaries, huh?
But you say it right. You say the N-word. In your friends around you say the N-word. You don't
I
set
would
boundaries
rather.
around other black
I
people.
do say it. I do say it.
What the
more
hell,
than
man?
I say it more than I care to. You know, it was just something I grew up with that I'm trying to remove. So I would rather not say the word. However, they have boundaries.
My point is there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place. If I go to my grandma's house, right, and I'm saying N-word this, N-word that, she gonna slap me in my mouth. And she black too. She just as black as me, but she gonna slap me in my mouth. There's a time and a place, okay? But does that mean that she's not gonna feed me? Does that mean that she's not gonna still love me? Does that mean that she's not gonna take me in? No. She's still going to say, hey, look, don't say that in my house, but come on, baby, come get a plate. When it comes to me being in a club and a white boy come in and he's not being disrespectful and he say, yo, what's good, my nigga? We just had my nigga by YG playing in the club, and everybody in the club is saying my N-word, this, that, and third. And then he come up to me, yo, what's good, my nigga? Like, let me buy you a drink. Hink said, "Oh, it's selling out."
Okay, wait, hold on.
If you hold on, let me finish.
So
go ahead. Hink said it's selling out. Hink said it's selling out. If I say, "Hey, bro, you know what I mean? I know the song just went down, but don't come at me like that." And he want, "Oh, okay, my bad, bro. I'm gonna buy you a drink." Cool. It's selling out for me to accept that drink from him. How
You're
does
gonna
that
be
make
a
any sense?
you're gonna be a Buzz Killington all the time, bro. Nobody will hang out with you.
No,
Well, look, okay,
you
so-
do what's comfortable for you.
So
you do
we're so,
set
so
your
we're
own
saying
When I say
Gen Z-
you, I mean in general, not you specifically. I understand everyone has their own personal boundaries, you know. So I respect that. But
Hey, my
in
man,
general, bro,
let me
it's
say
not
what I
gonna
need
work.
to say. Hold on, Cuban. First of all, that ain't what you said, dog. What you said was, dude, first thing this dude walked up to you and said, let me buy you a drink. And then you sit there and said you accepted the drink.
That's not what I
To
said.
me, oh, okay,
You
man. Now
just
you
misquoted
changing
me.
the story up.
No,
Look,
I just
I heard what you just said a second ago, but this is what I'm telling you. I wouldn't accept a drink from a man. First of all, I'm gonna educate this dude. Stop calling me the N-word. Don't use that around me. That's what I'm gonna do, because it's me personally. I'm not gonna accept your drink because I'm still disappointed in you first calling me the N-word. First things first, I'm not gonna accept your drink. I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna teach a lesson. That lesson is I'm not gonna accept you calling me that, and I'm not gonna accept this drink. Because now you think it's okay if I accept your drink. Oh, he's just saying that because he's upset, mad because I said the word.
corrected him,
No,
bro.
dog. Do what?
You
No,
corrected him. You told him.
I did correct him, and I'm not going to accept his drink, and I'm moving on.
And
But
the thing
y'all
is,
are
That's
saying
part
the
of me.
same thing.
That's part of my education
we're
process.
saying the same thing, Hank, because the young people, we still say, chill, don't say that shit around me, don't do that, don't. We might be like, don't say that because I'm black. If there's someone, if it's
The
not even a
energy is
question,
just
man.
different.
If a white person came up to me, or I'm pretty sure any young black male, and they said, "What's good, my nigga?" The first instinct on our face is to cringe it up and be looking at them like, "Who the fuck is this?" And we're gonna say like, "Who are you, bro?" Like, don't say that shit. Like, we don't know you. We don't fuck with
wanted
you.
to make sure
Whatever
that
it
was
is.
still the function.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
we're
I'm
like,
trying to get at.
we
It's
say,
not like I'm like, oh yes, call me the N-word.
but we're
No,
not
it's
about
like,
to fight
okay.
him either. We're not about to progress it more than that. We're like, bro, I don't know you like that. Don't say that shit, or don't say it at all. Like, who is you? You're white. Chill out. Like, bro, we're not about to start an argument or a fight in the club when everybody's there shit faced or having a good time. Like, that's extra.
No. Who said anything about violence? I didn't say anything about swinging on a young man. I said I'm not going to accept
He's
this.
not going to accept the drink. He's not going to.
I'm not
That's
going to
fine.
accept the
I wouldn't
drink.
accept the drink
That's
either.
fine, but
Or
at
if
the
I
end of
do,
the day,
I might take it and leave because I just finessed the drink. Made him
Okay,
feel
so
bad.
hold on. So let's bring it back.
That's about
How come
it.
I can't have
Let's
a
bring it back
conversation
for a
with
second.
somebody over a drink?
Y'all sound like
Hey guys,
females.
before I go, I
do
would
one at
like
a
to
time,
just
y'all. One at a time.
bring up one last point, guys.
Go ahead, Cuban.
And that is the Pavlovian response, guys, that we're getting from the Black American community when something like this happens, when it's clearly an agenda that is being pushed, and then the Black American topics are always used as tools in order to silence or to cancel somebody or to get somebody elected. It's always the same thing. I'm a little bit disappointed that it just keeps happening, you know, where whatever sensitive area Black Americans have, they're used by the powers that be in order to get an agenda or something done. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it, because you cannot
That's called
realistically
American politics. That's how American politics
facts,
work.
you know. Joe Rogan is not a racist, you know.
When the alphabet community gets upset, they mobilize, they get on people's nerves, and things change. Why is that somehow disturbing for us? Like, why we're not entitled to that?
I mean, he apologized.
That's
Do you
the
accept
point
his
of
apology?
No, I don't. He don't need to apologize to me, because I don't think Joe Rogan's a racist. I think he just got caught on tape saying a word he ain't got no business saying. I watched enough Joe Rogan in my life to understand that dude is not going to burn crosses on my lawn anytime soon.
If Joe Rogan came up to you in the club and he said, "Hey, Avon, let me buy you a drink," you'll accept the drink?
Yeah,
or is that
it's
selling
cool.
out? Is that
no? For me, okay. Look, this is an individual choice. As long as he doesn't say, "Hey, Avon, here's a drink, my nigga," we ain't got no problem.
And he would never do that. It's not even in his culture, part of his upbringing.
Yeah,
you know, it's all
we've
contextual.
all said things that we ain't got no business saying. What my problem is that when it keep coming out your mouth because you think you have the privilege to say it.
But no, wait, hold on.
That's
We have
my
a right.
problem.
We have a right to say it.
No, why do you want to say it?
Why do you want to say the F
of
word?
my American balls.
Why do you want to say the A word? Why do you curse at all?
See that right there.
Yeah,
that right there.
Because I think
Okay,
as someone who's genuine. Okay, but here's what I'm saying. It comes down to intent. It comes down to intent. So are you telling me as a black man that if you're walking down the street and a white man walks past you and uses the hard ER to you, you don't take offense to that at all, sir? I'll
say F you and keep it moving.
Okay, so why is it that your distaste for the word is above my distaste for the word? You clearly have a distaste for the word. I have a distaste for the word. Your tolerance for it from other people may be different.
He could have said anything disrespectful to me.
Hold on, I didn't cut you off. Your tolerance for the word given to you may be different from mine, but what you're not going to do is judge me for my tolerance level for having a standard of what people are not going to say to me. This is why I said I can't relate, bro, because I don't have random white dudes walking up to me and saying, "What's up, my N-word?" because maybe it's my size, maybe it's the way I carry myself, maybe it's the energy I give off. But that's probably that most 99% of white men are not going to have that conversation with me at all.
Look, guys,
bro.
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. If we're in this panel and we have to modulate what we say so the algorithm doesn't kick us out. If we complain that when we say something about Black American women, we also get, canceled, then you cannot, be mad at a man that his job is to talk for 3-4 hours every day, sometimes 6 hours for years, and then he, not even in a bad way, but making a joke or analyzing something uses the N-word. It's like freedom of speech.
Man. I don't have anger towards him. When I see people doing something stupid, I genuinely don't get angry at them. He did something dumb. He didn't do something evil. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a difference between doing something stupid.
Why is it dumb? Why is it dumb to say that? Why is it dumb?
Because in a modern American society, we have magic words that you're just not going to use if you don't.
That's not good.
But what I'm saying, look, I'm just playing by the rules of the game.
Do you believe in First Amendment?
I'm complaining about them. I'm telling you what the rules of the game are, and he was dumb because he knows the rules and he did it anyway. And
but that's the same thing as us here. We know the rules of the game. We're taking a risk talking openly about all these sensitive topics.
But you have to take responsibility for what you say, fam.
Did you watch the clip where he actually used the word?
Yes.
Or did you just see the compilation?
No, I've been watching Joe Rogan for 3 years. Trust me, I've seen the compilations, I've seen the clips, I watched the show. I know.
And when you heard him, when you watched the show, when you heard him say it, did you turn the podcast off?
No, I did not.
So you sold out because you're giving him a view. You're giving him a view and turning.
Out, sir?
Hink just said if you support a white man who said the N-word.
look, I said the reaction to it is going to be different for everybody. You, sir, if a white man uses that
You
word,
got a hard on for me, don't you, big brother?
Right.
No, I'm just saying.
Right.
I think you're
like. Are you confusing? Like me and him is two different people. We both got beards and shit, but we do different people, dog. So what I'm telling you is that do I think Joe Rogan is a racist? No. You asked, why do I think he did was dumb? Because there are rules in place. I'm gonna guarantee you right now, there are magic words. There are several magic words that cannot come out of your mouth, and there's a track record of it, and you get hired for a job ever again, sir. Ever.
That's why he apologized. I mean, Joe Rogan did apologize. He did acknowledge that the video is really bad when it looks, when you run it back, he said it one too many times, which is one too many. So, let's not act like he didn't issue a statement apologizing, and he didn't issue a statement saying,
because he was
I need to do better.
This happened years ago. This happened 10 years ago.
But why was he forced to?
Because Black Twitter,
Black Twitter, you won't mess up that money. Come on, man.
He already
got the contract.
Black Twitter does not have any impact on your.
Okay, now you're bugging.
Also, in that contract, you got a clause in that contract too. Everybody has clause in the contract.
Yeah, he has a clause that says that he has the ability to use freedom of expression, freedom of speech. They gave him a very vague contract, so he's able to say whatever the hell. He's able to bring on whatever guest that he wants. They gave him the most lenient contract. Academics also got a similar contract to his.
But
y'all make it seem like
too late because he had apologized.
Do or say.
Well, Joe is just a softie, in my opinion. I think he should have stood 10 toes down, but his personality is that of a socialist, or like a soft, like one of these like idealistic people, even though he does have some integrity, So that's why he apologized. But in the context of the culture right now, you cannot apologize, man, because the agenda that's coming down the road, man, is to like enslave everybody, in my opinion. And again, I say I am tired of Black Americans being used as tools for this crazy agenda, man. And I had to go. I love you guys.
Appreciate you,
all right, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Keep running, big brother. Keep running. I'm walking.
It sounds like, man, we ain't like, it's like y'all don't care that people gotta have consequences of what they say or do. Like that's the case. Like the guy that used to own the Clippers, like he should have never had to sell his team. Like he had a private conversation that got recorded. He had to sell his team. He's a billionaire. He earned the right.
He shouldn't have.
What I'm saying is he shouldn't have, but it happened because that's the consequence of saying stuff you shouldn't be saying.
Because he
like
because
y'all
he succumbed to
like
the
it should
because
be
he
like you can say anything, it should be no consequence. Well, that's the case. Then nothing shouldn't have happened to Nick Cannon. Like nothing shouldn't have happened to nobody. Then it should never be consequences of none of your actions. You should never have no consequences. You should be able to do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say, no consequences. You know what? I can say in freedom of speech. No consequence.
I mean, when you own your own platform, you can do that. Bro. When you own your own platform, you can do that. It's about controlling the platform.
He owned the Clippers. He was a billionaire.
Yeah, but he also has to answer to other people. There's other people that he has to answer to.
So you don't think Joe Rogan does either?
Answer to nobody.
He does because he doesn't produce on his own platform. If Joe Rogan had JoeRogan.com and all of his podcasts came out of JoeRogan.com, he wouldn't have had to issue an apology at all.
Right.
Oh, he didn't have to. He chose to.
Yeah,
he chose to because he succumbed to the political pressure of.
Now he came to that bag. He didn't want to mess that bag up.
He's attached to a corporation.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I'm saying if he had his own platform, he could say whatever he wanted.
Do you think Whoopi should have been suspended?
No.
Okay, I agree.
They should have just corrected her, like Hink said, educate her and keep it moving.
I agree.
I'm not with the cancel culture stuff. I mean, she spoke out of ignorance. Obviously, she was wrong, but they could have corrected her and kept it moving.
So then what's the difference? Why is it that Whoopi got suspended and Joe Rogan got support when
because
they both
it's the
speaking out of
Joe
ignorance.
Rogan experience. The Real does not bring in as much money as Joe Rogan's podcast does.
So it's just money related. It's not nothing to do with you. You think it's all bottom line. If The View was the #1 rated show on television, you think that Whoopi would have never got suspended?
Well, no, because
if it
they're
was the
predominant.
Whoopi.
The majority of their viewers are women, so they're going to be more emotional and they're going to be more inclined to put in complaints. Whereas the majority of Joe Rogan's consumers are men, so people have heard those clips back in the day. We're just not that sensitive. The problem is with black men, we're too sensitive.
No, you sensitive. Black men ain't sensitive.
How am I sensitive?
Right.
You said that Black Twitter. You said that Joe Rogan succumbed to political pressure from various entities like Black Twitter. I don't think that black people have any impact on Joe Rogan. I think that it's corporations.
I don't even know any black people that listen to Joe Rogan.
Right.
And you just said you listen to Joe Rogan. You just said you listen to Joe Rogan.
Black people as a culture, black people as a culture don't listen to Joe Rogan like that. Right. We're checking for Power. You know what I mean? I don't watch Power, but black people watch Power. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch Real Housewives, but black folk watch
And there's
Real
more
Housewives.
educating going on Joe Rogan's podcast than any of those stupid shows.
You might believe that, and that's fine.
No, it's not that I believe. It's not that I believe that. It's the reality. There's way more educating going on Joe Rogan's show than Power or any of those dumb shows.
And you guys,
it's not dumb.
So now I hate myself because I say that Joe Rogan is more educating than a stupid sitcom. That glorifies violence in the black community. That glorifies violence and drug selling in the black community. So y'all would rather black people? No. Can I say something? Can I speak? Y'all would rather black people. So I hate myself because I would rather black people watch an educational show than them watch a show that glorifies murder, violence, and drug dealing in the black community. I hate myself because of that.
Would I love black people more if I watched Real Housewives?
Huh?
No.
I'm asking a question. What's more beneficial, watching a show that's educational or watching a show that perpetuates the negative stereotypes in the black community?
The assumption is that you think all black people are watching that shit.
That was my point. That was my point. That was my point, Gen Z.
My
you took
black
my point
ass
and went
just
left
told
with it.
you I watch Joe Rogan, but then on the other hand, you telling me every black person is sitting around in their drawers watching Power, dog.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm responding to what you said. I said that Joe Rogan is more educational than Power or any of those Real Housewives shows. And then you said, do you even like yourself? Do you like black people? Because I don't like
your mouth has been negative about how you approach your own people, bro.
Exactly.
That's not true. No. So correcting.
If I didn't know you was black, I would have. If I didn't see your picture right now, know you was black, I would have thought you was a damn white supremacist, dog. Real talk on some of the stuff.
So correcting something that you said. So correcting something that you said.
You got big time Uncle Ruckus energy, dog. And I don't know.
Okay, that's how you feel.
Like real talk, you got big time Uncle Ruckus energy, bro.
That's how you feel. That's how you feel, but that's your emotion. That's your emotion speaking because you're not even thinking logically. You're just coming with the ad hominems and trying to name call. You're trying to name call because I'm telling you the truth that Joe Rogan is more beneficial to anybody, more educational than watching Power and the Real Housewives. You know
Gen Z,
why
I don't disagree with you on that. You're right
there's so
about
much
that.
dysfunction because
Joe
our
Rogan is
entertainers
way more
enable it. You know why white people feel so comfortable with saying the N word? Because every little nigga who comes out with a track. No, it's because every rapper that you have in your playlist is saying it. And guess who are the majority consumers? Guess who are the majority consumers of hip hop music? White people.
No, you said it. You said it right the first time.
What did you say, Action?
How old are you, Gen Z?
I'm 26 years old.
Nico, what do you
got
think?
a lot of growing up to do, my brother.
Conversation.
You got a lot of growing up to do because you're still emotional about a word You're
hold on.
No, I'm not.
So Nico, let's get
I'm
Nico.
not.
Nico, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? You know, in regards to it, is there an educational conversation that can be had around these topics, maybe for people from outside of the subculture? You know, should somebody like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson be sitting together talking about if black is a weird word, if the word nigger is a bad word, or that should be everybody word? You know, what do you think about that?
I definitely think they should not be having the conversation. I think really I don't think like I don't think none of them should be having the conversation. And me and Gen Z are the same age, but I don't like other races saying the N word. I live in Chicago in the south suburbs, but I went to school in Chicago, and I had a lot of white classmates, Mexican classmates. They tried to say the N word. I'm like, bruh, you can't say it. Stop trying. Like, I had an incident where one of my Mexican classmates, he tried to say it on the low. Did somebody say the N word? I'm like, bruh, stop trying to say it. So, listening to Gen Z, I honestly don't think it's a way that you can like laugh it off. Like, getting me a drink or trying to, playing sports. It ain't no way funny you could say it.
Who said it was funny?
No, I mean, when you were saying about the drink,
I said that I wouldn't judge him. I wouldn't judge him and think that he's racist just because he said the N-word when we literally have a song going on that has the N-word in it 150 times.
What I'm saying is he shouldn't say it at all. He shouldn't be comfortable saying it at all. No matter if you're drunk, if you're playing, if you're for real,
the problem is
we're word policing.
You don't see other communities where they have these derogatory terms and they're promoting and boasting and saying it publicly every
100%.
day.
I agree with you, Sway. 100%.
And when the F word for the gay people was going around and saying it, and everyone thought it was cool, everybody was just saying that shit. As soon as they said it's not cool, they won't saying it. We don't want nobody to say it. General consensus: don't nobody say this shit publicly.
I remember when it wasn't. I remember when it wasn't a problem to say the F word, to say the FAG word back in the we used to call each other F word all the time.
Yeah,
and it didn't mean anything. But now, because of social media and the influence of the LGBT community, now they've made it to where only we can say that, and they don't even say it to each other
Why do you want to call them that word, sir?
But honestly,
why do you want to call them that word?
No, I'm talking about we're calling each other. I'm talking about have you ever played a sport? Have you ever played a sport?
You're complaining about not having the right to say something derogatory to somebody. Think about what you just said,
dude. Bro. I'm saying it to my homeboy.
You upset because you can't use the F word to gay people, bro?
No,
you feel
bro.
the right has been taken away from you.
You didn't even hear.
Like,
you didn't
seriously?
hear. You're not even listening. I said that it was normalized to say, yo, if I got a homeboy and we're playing a sport and I just cross him up or I run him over on the football field and I say, ha ha ha, hey, you a F word. It was normal for us to talk crap about each other and be able to say whatever we wanted to say to each other, and then we'll go to the locker room, laugh it off, and then keep it moving. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I would say that to an LGBT person. I'm saying that they made it so you can't even say it at all, even to your friends. Like, oh, you're such an F word. Oh, you're this, you're that. Like, y'all act like you don't talk crap to your friends and use all types of words, all types of language.
Yeah, but it's competitive nature. They been stopped having people say that even before social media. That has nothing to do with social media. I'm telling you, how are you gonna tell us? We know. I'm 46. I know what it was okay. It wasn't okay to say at the end.
Okay, well,
it wasn't all right to sit there and call a person that's slang.
When I was in middle school,
even in my time.
When I was in middle school,
but you also sit there and said you let your white boys call you the N-word too,
I didn't
dog.
say that either. I didn't say that either. I didn't say I let them call me anything.
Okay,
I said I wouldn't have an emotional response to the word.
Let's not split too many hairs.
Nobody said about having an emotional response. Just don't let them say
follow-up.
Yeah,
let me ask you all a follow-up.
Well, how can you stop somebody from saying anything?
So this word has been in
existence.
existence.
Stop saying to you.
Well, hold on, Hank. So this word has been in existence in a pop cultural sense for like 50 years. Gen Z, Sway, y'all are younger men, so I kind of, direct this question at y'all. Just curious on what y'all think. What changed in the last 20 years? What happened because slaves were calling each other this, in jest or in as a term of endearment or however you want to say it. But just in the past, I would say 15 to 20
Slaves
years.
were not calling each other the N-word as a term of endearment. Bro, if you listen
they
to
were using
my grandmother picked cotton, my grandfather
they were using the
picked
word
cotton.
in a way that white people were not using it, and it wasn't always as a means of aggression towards each other. But whatever, let's not.
Black people didn't start. Black people because that's a lie.
Okay,
it was a label of a.
Give me the year that you're comfortable with. Give me the year that you're comfortable with. 1970.
I would say during the 70s and early 80s when hip hop started becoming a big advent. That's when Black people started using it as a term of endearment.
Even though in the past, let's say 15 to 20 years, just going off
you think MLK and the Freedom Riders were going up to each other? Yo, what's good, my nigga? Man, hell no.
No, I mean, Black G, I gotta push back. I don't think it was the 70s. I think it was a little bit before that. I think
it was way before that.
It was around. It was around 1920s when the feminism movement came in and they got their segregation and everything like that. It wasn't like before the 18. It was literally around the 1900s. It wasn't the 1960s or 70s or late. It was more so when we were transitioning and giving women's rights and we were creating our own community.
Think so.
Once we started establishing ourselves and then before segregation happened, we were calling each other nigga.
Right.
Before
regardless, my question is, what do you think changed? Why? What changed in grand society to where non-Black people wanted to start being included in the hip hop culture? Because there's country music, there's all kinds of genres of music through all kinds of people. Since
the invention of hip hop, white people have always been the number one consumers of hip hop. They're the only ones who are not the only ones, but they're the main ones who are going and purchasing concert tickets, purchasing albums. Like we even have we had a culture of bootlegging CDs in the Black community. We wasn't buying shit. We weren't even support. Like,
shoot, you look at Black.
Wait, hold on. Let's correct something. Let's correct something real quick. Let's correct something about the timeline.
He was right, man.
Yeah, number one, somebody said that around when segregation started. Segregation started in the 1870s that's when Jim Crow started, right after Reconstruction. So let's get the timeline straight. Second of all, we didn't start it. The word nigga didn't become popular really until the 90s. Like late 80s, 90s. That's when NWA started coming out. That's when it started becoming popular. It's even noted in if you read the book by Steve Stout called Tanning of America, he mentions that. So that started around late 80s, early 90s. Now I have one question. Everybody's talking about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's having that. The reason why he said those words is the same conversation we're having right now. The exact same conversation about. Right. So if you actually listen to the full clip of what he was saying that we are trying to police words, and I don't want to be able to police words. So he mentioned somebody's comedy bit where they called somebody a nigga. They called somebody the S word for Hispanics, the K word for Jews, all that all those different slurs, and he said it was very shocking. That was one of the context of what he's saying, the N word. And he said it, and he keeps on every time he mentioned the N word, it was in the context of we should not be policing words. We should not be telling people what they can and cannot say, because when you start doing that, you're giving that word power.
Yep.
You're giving that word negative energy, and that's the reason why he said it. It wasn't just him saying, and I think we need to make that distinction between him saying it in an educational fashion versus him coming up to a Black dude and saying, "Hey, what up, my nigga?" Or "Hey, just look at this nigga."
That's two different. I said that. Do you think
that's an appropriate conversation that Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson can be having together? You think that's appropriate?
Yes, because why?
Yes, why not?
It's not appropriate at all.
Yes, it is.
Can I bring it back? Because honestly, I said this earlier, man.
It's not about the word.
It's one at a time, y'all. One at a time.
Hey, it's Aaron L.
Yeah,
you just police your own self, bro. When you went down the list of the words he was saying that he said or whatever, you said nigga, and then you said every other letter. But
you know why? Well, two reasons. One, because I don't want to necessarily use those words. I'm not, but I understand why other people can do it. I'm not saying if you can have your own vocabulary. Two, I don't want to get JR in trouble on his platform. I don't know those words may flag his platform. I don't want to do that. So I'm not, you know, I'm not ignorant.
What? But my thing is, why can't just because like why? Look, black people have conversations about white people all the time amongst ourselves on podcasts, on YouTube panels. So why can't white people have a conversation about black people in the context of using the N-word or describing somebody by their skin color? There's black people on YouTube who said, don't call me black, don't call me an African American, I'm an original descendant of this land, don't call me any of that. Those are the white man's terms. So why can't a white person go on their podcast and discuss those same things?
I can answer that question for you,
Let me get him real quick. Are you saying that black people don't suffer consequences for having conversations about white people? Are you saying that?
Maybe Jews, but not white
people.
I
was just gonna tell you. Ask Arsenio Hall about that real quick. Arsenio
but if you
Hall, don't cut me off. I don't cut you off. Arsenio Hall brought Louis Farrakhan onto his show, and he didn't work for the next 20 years, fam. 20 years. So please do not sit here and tell us
because Louis Farrakhan is
we
racist.
have like some license to say anything we want about anybody as a people because what black people we feel sorry for black people. We just gonna let them run amok and get away with whatever. Dog, we don't get away with nothing.
But your example of Arsenio Hall and Louis Farrakhan is openly racist. He's openly called for exterminating
openly
Jewish
racist
people.
White woman working for 15 years. Her name is Roseanne, dog. She was on TV for 15 years.
Bro, Roseanne is not racist, bro.
Hold on, let's stay focused on what we're talking about here.
She's a comedian. Okay? She's a comedian. Is Eddie Murphy homophobic? Is Eddie Murphy homophobic because of his ridiculous comedy set? Is he homophobic because of that?
Right?
Yeah, and he ain't did it again. Right? Eddie Murphy ain't did no set like that again.
And that's the best set of that's the best, arguably one of the best comedy sets in history.
I mean, you know, that's a conversation for a different time, but I would vehemently disagree with that. Them Eddie Murphy comedy specials, you go back and watch them thing, I dare you to naturally laugh today.
They're hilarious. But whatever. I still watch them to this day.
No, they are hilarious. They are hilarious.
Don't do that to Eddie Murphy. Come on, bro.
But I will say this. I don't necessarily think that what you're saying is wrong, Gen Z. I really don't disagree with a lot of the stuff you're saying. However, the issue is it seems like you're making excuses for allowing people to say whatever it is they want to say. I know that there's no law and that there's a First Amendment where the government can't prosecute you for saying certain words. All of that stuff makes sense.
Every damn time.
Right,
Americans
but that's not necessarily the conversation.
That every time, because most Americans have actually probably never read the damn thing.
Well, you're misinterpreting the First Amendment because unless it incites violence or action from somebody to inflict violence on another person, it's fair game.
First Amendment protects you from federal prosecution.
Right, that's for the
government. It does not protect you from the financial windfall or your social windfall.
Nobody said
what comes out your mouth. So what you're saying is you have a problem with people trying to, snuff out Joe Rogan. The First Amendment protects him from being locked up by the feds. That's all fine. That it does. After that, you're fair game, bro.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying that's why I'm saying we as a community are too sensitive because when it happens to us, all hell breaks loose. But when we go and do it to somebody else, it's fine.
I disagree that it's the community though. I've been maintaining during this broadcast, it's really not black men who are getting up in arms about Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Roseanne, Bill O'Reilly. The names go on and on and on. We might, as individuals, say what they said was messed up. I don't really watch their show like that. I really don't rock with people who do that. But we're not calling for anybody to get canceled, anybody to get pulled from Spotify. It's plenty of broadcasters and content creators that I bet you a lot of black men don't rock with. Now, it might be young people, you know what I mean, over, under a certain age, let's say under 25, that might rock with some of the things that Joe Rogan says, because in general, his show is meant to be educational. He might be ignorant, but he's trying to say things and then very willing to be corrected by
Joe Rogan is not ignorant.
He says ignorant things. He openly says that he doesn't have certain information. That's why he brings on professionals to correct him, or they'll pull something up right then and there.
That's not ignorance. That's being coachable. That's being teachable. There's a
I mean, but when
difference.
you,
But see,
when
but
you
see,
are
you're thinking
The
about
something
ignorance
definition,
in
the
a negative
definition of ignorance is not
connotation.
knowing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
right. See, people when they
So
hear
you bring people
ignorance,
on to educate you.
right, because they're ignorant to whatever this information is the person has. You know what I mean?
right
People
in the
hear
true sense of the
ignorant.
definition of ignorance.
A lot of times people hear ignorant and they get triggered by it because it's like a negative thing. But literally, it's not having the knowledge.
Right. Speaking on something of which you don't have much knowledge, I could lecture my wife all day long about how to maintain her body, but I don't necessarily know what it's like to be a woman, so it'd be ignorant for me to give her advice like that.
Well,
Similar
that's not
to
true either.
Joe
I'm a
Rogan.
personal trainer. And I can tell a woman how to maintain her body. I'm not a woman.
But
That's
I mean,
not
you
what
can,
he meant. He meant
but it
her
would be
body,
ignorant.
bro.
It
Her
would be
female
ignorant.
body.
You
Yes.
doing that would be, if a woman said you can't tell me how to
Avery,
take care of my body, that would be ignorant. You
Avery,
can
you
go
was
off
right, man.
as
You
many
was right,
facts
Dave.
as you want to, but them facts were made by women. The article that you're pulling that from was made by a woman. The primary source that you pull anything about a menstrual cycle,
That's
pap
not
smears,
true.
all
Do
these
you know
other
most
things.
OBGYNs are men?
Okay, but I'm saying you Google something and you're gonna see, and you're not an OBGYN. You're just a rando dude on
That
the
does
internet. You're gonna get
that
most of your information from people who know what they're talking about. And OBGYN is not ignorant because they're professional. You
okay,
aren't
but
an
you're saying
OBGYN.
only women. You're saying only women can speak on a woman's body, and that's not
I'm
true.
saying that people who know what they're talking about should be the only person who would be speaking on it. Everybody else will be speaking from ignorance. Joe Rogan is not a health professional. So when he speaks on health related topics, that's coming from his own personal experience, but largely given his platform, if he's speaking on something without any professional context, he's pretty much speaking out of ignorance. He even says that. I don't necessarily know the facts. I don't know the data, but I think it's X, Y, and Z. Hey,
Yeah,
let's
he
pull
says that
up
because
and
that's
look
a
it up.
disclaimer. If he brings somebody on to educate him, now he has been formally educated on the topic, so he can speak on it not out of
Right.
ignorance, but out of the education from another person who came on the podcast and educated him about said subject.
Sure, but his initial bringing up and his opinion on it is rooted in ignorance.
Well, did you go to college?
I see a good amount of Joe Rogan stuff. He really
You
doesn't
just want to be
come out
confrontational, don't you, Black
No,
Jen?
I'm literally asking a
so
question.
wait, is he not allowed to be ignorant?
Say again?
Are we saying he's not allowed to be ignorant or say ignorant things?
I say that he is not allowed to use his ignorance as a means to say whatever he wants to say. He can't
Why
say,
not?
well, because I don't know about this, I'm just going to say whatever and then
Why
say,
not?
well, I'm open to correction. It's like, okay, that's cool. I'm not saying he deserves to be censored. I'm not saying he should be canceled. I'm not saying any of that. But I'm saying I can kind of see how people would say Joe Rogan regularly participates in spreading misinformation. He uses it by saying, well, I'm just talking about a topic I really don't know. I'm open to being corrected. That's a disclaimer for legal purposes, when really he's just talking. He has, and like someone said, he has to talk for 3-4 hours.
Well, it's a podcast.
So, you know,
So,
he's just gonna talk. Well, he's
so
going to
we-
find himself in trouble if he's just out there talking. That's all.
By who?
How is he
By
spreading
who?
misinformation though if he's getting advice and information from experts in their field and he's regurgitating what they tell him? Like any
I
of
mean,
these
a
other
lot of-
like any of these other newscasts or panels or whatever, they're getting their information from somebody else who's more credible than them, and they're regurgitating the information they get. And then we don't say that right there is the same thing that Joe Rogan's doing. What we say Joe Rogan's doing is giving people misinformation, regardless of if CNN or whatever Fox News or whatever major news broadcast actually did give you false information months ago. And we're not calling that any problems because they did give us false
Exactly.
information months ago. And the
Exactly.
information on the jab has been changing constantly. The information that we have right now is not what the information we got 6, 8 a year ago, 2 years ago. We have totally different information, and a lot of stuff that we got from these newscasts back in the day could be seen as misinformation and misleading based off of the
And-
information they had.
And they're dangerous because they're presumed to be experts. While Joe Rogan, everybody knows Joe Rogan doesn't have no medical degree.
But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just the point is he's going through what he's going through right now because people believe that his platform is being used to bring on whoever, say whoever, and how many views does he get per episode? Something like 100 million, 150
11 million.
Yeah,
11 million per episode.
11 million per episode. So regardless of if he's allowed to be ignorant or not, I guess my question is, does he not bear any responsibility to say whatever it is he's going to say, to make sure the doctor he brings on isn't some shamed doctor that has
The
already
only
been
reason that
disproven?
the only reason that these doctors are shamed is because in the scientific community, they have to go with a certain narrative. Just like Sway said, the information about the beer bug has been changing since day one. The only reason why these shamed scientists are so shamed is because the scientific community came together and said, hey, this guy is not on, he's not on our program, he's not backing the information that we're putting about, the ever-changing information that we're putting out about the beer bug. So let's ostracize him from the scientific community because he's saying something that's contrary to what we want to push.
And I'll give
Exactly.
you a different
And
example
I get.
outside the beer bug.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just watching one this other day, either yesterday or something. They were talking about depression, and there's a general consensus amongst the medical community that when human beings are going through depression, they have a chemical imbalance in their brain, and then you have to subset that off with some type of medication. But the problem is that he had a guy on who didn't necessarily believe that it's just outright chemical imbalance, and that the fact that there are leading factors in your everyday life that could lead to you feeling depressed. One could be success. Two can be, you don't feel like financial stress. Like there's a lot of other things that can alleviate the mental stress in your brain that can lead to depression. And he gets pushback for saying that. For saying that you don't necessarily need a bunch of pills to cure your depression. Maybe we need to improve how people feel in this everyday life. Maybe try to help with the financial stress, the health stress, whatever the stress
Diet.
gives them. Diet, like they're just saying, like the health stuff. Like we build these big cities, but do we expect people to walk and bike around? But there's nothing but pavement and big buses and tight crowds, and you know what I mean. We're not actually building communities that can actually progress people's health and make them less depressed. And there are studies on this, but he gets pushed back from that in the medical community. And I go on Joe Rogan to hear a conversation on that. Like instead of hearing, oh, if I'm depressed, I should just expect these pills to solve all my problems. Instead,
Exactly.
I need a better sustainable life that can help with my depression. I shouldn't have to feel like I should take these pills. Like the pill is one thing, but he used an analogy. It's like say you're overweight. Back in the day, I mean, I guess you can get liposuction if or you can get staples, and that's kind of a fix there. Or you can work out, and that's probably going to help you, get you better food, better environments to progress you to work out, take care of yourself, whatever it is, and you'll probably feel healthier and you'll probably be less overweight instead of doing a quick fix like stapling your stomach or getting liposuction. And that's what he's trying to say. Like we use when we're talking about the misinformation, a lot of the times people are feeling that the information we're getting from that's supposed to be the right information is the misinformation now, because it doesn't add up. We go to our own research and it doesn't. We don't believe it anymore. Now we're going to Rogan to hear a based conversation that isn't what we're getting necessarily pushed. And maybe this is a different perspective that we should be looking into instead of just taking what the first thing people are telling us on the major news platforms. And that's why so many people are going to Rogan. People can say, oh, now this is what they're doing to Rogan now. They're not even attacking Rogan anymore. They're attacking the fans. They're trying to say the fans are the white supremacists. The fans are the Nazi, whatever. They're the bad people, and the fans are these things. The crazy thing is the fans are the most base people probably in the country. They're the most neutral. They're not full right. They're not full left. They're probably in the middle because they want an objective opinion instead of just hearing the same narrative that's been going on and believing in it. Somehow, the narrative that's being pushing it's supposed to make us believe that they know it all, but then they don't get the actions of they know it all. They get the opposite of that, where everything is still fucked up. And so now we want a different perspective, and everyone's going to Rogan. It has nothing to do with him being a racist or him, being against necessarily black people. It's like he's having a conversation that a lot of people want to have on the why they can't say it in any form, in any context ever. They can't say it in any type of debate. They can't say it in any type of scientific talk. They can't say it about history. They can't say it in nothing. If you're not a black man, you can't say that word in any type of context or any form of whatever. And they're like, this doesn't make sense. Because if we're talking about anybody else, we can use this word or their words when we're talking about scientific things and bring it up. But and then the bigger issue is that we still say it today. The words that everyone fights against, like the F word or the K word or whatever, slur word for Asian people, they don't even say it like that. They don't say it so publicly. We are still saying these words today and act like it's normal. Like we can't act ignorant and just say it so publicly, and then we look to other races to not think that they're going to say it as well. So I don't know. It's just a big misconception on Rogan, and I don't think people who actually watch him think he's a racist. I think people who are getting pushed the narrative think he's a racist. I think people who think objectively don't think he's a racist. I think people who think in echo chambers definitely do think he's a racist. So when we're talking about Rogan, think of what perspective you're in and what type of box you're in and what type of thought process. Are you thinking from an emotional standpoint? Are you in your feelings about this? Did you actually watch the whole broadcast? How many broadcasts have you actually watched? You know what I mean? Like, these are the questions you should be asking instead of, is he racist? Like, what is he actually talking about to even bring up this context? What is the bigger picture going around? Why is this coming up years later? You know what I mean? He said it then. Why didn't we talk about it then? Like, these are the questions, not is he racist? Because like I said, Avon doesn't think he's racist. I don't think he's racist. Anybody who watches him, knows him personally, don't think he's racist. How is this even a question?
He's not. And you know what? I would say it's all about who somebody actually likes and who's being embraced. To be honest with you, because didn't Bill Maher say it in a comedy sketch? Well, because he was against Trump, no one said anything about it. He said it. He said, "Yo, I'm an N-word." In this comedy sketch, I hear no pushback from anybody, but because he's
house N-word, house N-word.
I hear no pushback from anybody.
No, he got pushback. He did get pushback, but it was from his higher ups, not the black community necessarily.
Because I brought it up in a Facebook post, and everybody was like, "No, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's against Trump. Don't worry about it. He's good."
Leave who?
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. Oh, yeah. There was not the same amount of outrage with the Bill Maher situation.
And he said it like blatantly on late night TV.
Still on air. Didn't get suspended. Anything.
Because
now,
why
you have the black community take up that mantle and start preaching against him, like you said they trying to do against my man.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Why didn't they take up the stake and preach against Bill Maher like they said?
Because he's a Democrat. He's protected. He's protected by the powers that be.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yep, because he pushes a certain political agenda. Trump. He pushes a political agenda that aligns with the powers that be. So that's why they didn't come down and chastise him in the way that they're doing Joe Rogan, is because Joe Rogan is a contrarian to the powers that be, to the social norms and the political norms and the leftist agenda. And Bill Maher is right in line with it. He's only.
So I guess you was okay with Biden telling you your ass is not black if you go vote for Trump, huh?
Who?
Everybody was. They were.
You said okay,
yes, they were.
But majority of black people voted for Biden in droves. So what are you saying? Majority of black people didn't have a problem with it because they still voted for him.
And the craziest thing is when we bring up Biden.
Yes, that's true.
Biden has done Biden in his life and his career has basically done everything that Trump was accused of.
But you're not every black person.
Who'd you vote for?
Everything that Trump was accused of, Biden has done.
He said every black person.
He said, if you don't vote for me, you
said the majority.
Black.
That's what black Gene.
And I said the majority of black people voted for Joe Biden. That's a fact.
And
so what's the problem? We have no problem with Democrats who in all actuality are the real racists. We have no problem with them saying whatever they want about us to us. But when it comes to somebody who isn't in that that political ideologue, if they're not leftist, then it all hell breaks loose. And we got
what you saying is, what you saying is just that ain't what you saying is disingenuous, because a lot of people end up disingenuous. A lot of people end up voting for him because that's normally like the black vote. Like they normally vote Democrat.
So they give him a pass.
It wasn't more, but still, it wasn't more about like what you're saying just because of what he said or being black and majority of black people had went and voted for him. It's more that more black people, they kind of subscribe to being Democrat. That was one of the main reasons, and because they wanted to get Trump out of there because everybody was trying to make him out to be a racist. Because
so do you think Trump is racist?
No, because I think he was just being a realist.
So
I don't think he was racist.
people.
I think he was just bringing the ugly heads. He was just bringing out the real out of people, and a lot of people ain't want to deal with that real. They like this fake facade. They wanted people to keep on putting this blind over your face, and he was just taking that bag off and make you look in the mirror and seeing the truth or whatever. And X, Y, and Z. It had nothing to do about us wanting to vote for him.
And I'm telling you, if you personally saying, oh, Trump is not racist, do you know that there are black people who will come out and do what Avon did to me and say, oh, I'm an Uncle Tom, I'm a coon, I got Uncle Ruckus vibes? Do you know that there are black people who would call you an Uncle Tom and call you, you hate yourself just because you said that Trump isn't racist? You know,
I for one, I know that.
As a matter of fact, they're doing that in the chat right now.
I know they ignorant to policy. They not reading out one policy that Biden had put out. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really care about what they saying in the chat. Don't pay attention to the chat. Don't care. They just ignorant to the fact that Biden ain't put nothing in place. He just told you a bunch of jobber to get you to the polls, tell you Trump is this and Trump is that, and you fell for it.
So I move off of numbers. I move off of numbers though. Most black people fell for it. We had the largest voter turnout in damn near history in 2020.
But I told you
from
why,
the black
because
community.
they tried to because it's not just because of what he said, it's because of what the picture they try to paint with Trump.
No,
that he's a racist. So black people just don't run to that narrative for the most part.
It's because you have been conditioned to vote Democrat no matter who the candidate is. Like literally, if you look at
said that.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't really get to the gist of it. The gist of it is that the leftist agenda is the one that is running the political world.
But you also got to look at what state you're in. So if you're a registered Democrat, you have no choice but to. This is your option. Like in the state of Kentucky. Now listen to me.
Republican on the damn ticket in Chicago in 60 years, fam. What else we supposed to do?
It depends on, like I said, it depends on your state. So it depends on the state you're in. If you're registered Democrat, this is the options you have, right? Now, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't for Biden.
Who'd you vote for?
I wanted Bernie. That's who I wanted. That's who I wanted as my Democratic representative. Bernie,
and Bernie is a socialist. Bernie is a socialist. That's not a better pick.
Okay.
Listen, that's just my
he's better than Biden. Literally, I would have voted for. I literally would have voted for a tree over Biden.
And that's who I wanted.
I feel you.
I mean, that's just that was my options. But that's because I'm registered Democrat. So those are my options.
Y'all. It's been a real good conversation. This is the Lapeef Network, Lapeef Sports. I want to kind of wrap this up with some final thoughts. You know, Black Gen Z, I appreciate your input. You know, it's been incredible. Jackson, Aaron L, I know we got you in late, but I appreciate you. You know, what in the face of all of this, what is the individual supposed to do? Because I've heard a lot of, you know, people say that they specifically don't participate in certain behaviors, but because the group does, it's almost as if the individual is powerless to what the group wants. So as we wrap up on cancel culture and whatever it is, you know, what can the individual do to stand on their own principles in the face of what the group wants? So, I mean, do you continue to listen to Joe Rogan for the educational content? Do you go away from it because you feel like he's a little too comfortable in saying the things he says? You know, what's the best course of action going forward?
There's a balance. There's a healthy balance. And I think that we as a community are way too sensitive, even though you say, oh, it's not black men who are doing it. Come on. Even the vitriol that I got on this panel, I didn't call anybody out their name. I didn't call anybody using ad hominem. That is a female argument tactic. But I didn't call anybody out their name. I just presented the points. The people who get out and call you a name and this, that, and the third, they do that because they know they're wrong. So I think that overall we need to be less sensitive and we need to have a balanced perspective. Just like people are watching Joe Rogan and getting education from him. I'm not saying you can't watch a show that's ratchet like Power or Love and Hip Hop or anything like that, but there needs to be a balance and you need to differentiate between entertainment and education. And overall, the people that Joe Rogan has on his panel are majority educational. So,
Aaron L., what do you think? You guys good points too.
Man, listen. We all grown, do what you want to do. I think that you should listen to who you want to listen to. You shouldn't be influenced by the crowd. Make a judge for yourself. I really don't like when people when we cancel people and we cancel them based off of limited information instead of going out and researching and finding out with the full context of of why everybody is upset or what the clip is or what the statement was. We just go by whatever the machine tells us to do, and we just continue to run with it, and eventually we just believe the lie ourselves. You got to stop believing the lie. You got to actually research, and if you care that much about a certain topic, then actually find out why everybody thinks that way, or find out why you should think another way. That's my point. But anyway, but the biggest thing is we can't censor people. Otherwise, like you'll never know who the person next to you actually is.
Got you. Action, what do you think? Oh, go ahead. JR, action. You want to guys?
You go ahead. I really don't. I don't watch Joe Rogan, so I really don't have much to say on it. I don't watch the guy.
But just in general, is it something that you want to hear from just the masses in general? Is it conversations that we should be having? Should people just know better? You know what I mean? I mean, everybody can kind of say that everybody knows not to use certain words regardless of the context. Or is it, do you agree with Black Gen Z that we're too sensitive and that we need to open up a little more to some understanding and try to make more effort to find common ground versus censorship?
I don't think that we're too sensitive. I just feel like it just needs to be a level of respect across the board. We not having a conversation about certain words about other ethnic groups. They don't need to be having it about us. It's just that simple.
What?
Try to restrain yourself, Black G. Just try to restrain. Hink, what you think?
Hey man, I said what I said. I just nobody should be censored, and I'll agree with that. Like I said, I just choose not to use those words, and I choose not to be called those words, and it's just me. Now, I can't stop you from saying that, but if I don't address you, don't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, though.
Jay, go ahead. Avon, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to figure out, because we sat here, we're talking about Joe Rogan. The Black community is not trying to cancel Joe Rogan, nor do they need to. You got to understand, there's free speech, freedom of speech, but it does come with a consequence. You can say exactly what you want to say, but just understand there's always going to be a consequence. What we have to figure out is, how do we become the people? Because all of this stuff that we're discussing and we're arguing, it's really kind of just semantics. You know what I mean? It's to keep us distracted from dealing with real issues that will elevate us. How do we become the people that can mobilize and get somebody removed from their job when, like Whoopi, get somebody suspended?
But why do we want to do that?
No, what I'm saying is, how do we earn that respect where people have to come to us and ask for forgiveness for, why are our people always easily punished and embarrassed? You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Nick Cannon or it's Whoopi Goldberg, you know what I mean? We just said that what she had going on was just ignorance, where she could have been corrected. But it's like, no, we need to make an example of you. You know what I mean? So we're a forgiving people, so we'll never be the type to sit there and want to make examples of people, but how will they give us the respect like we can? So,
Avon, Sway, what y'all thinking?
You're muted.
I don't have a problem with Joe Rogan. I like his podcast, especially the ones about aliens. Them be kind of dope. But sometimes you have to understand, and then maybe this comes with age, this comes with maturity, this comes with moving throughout the corporate system. You have to understand we live in a society with rules. There are rules that are written by the government, there are rules that are written by society. And in the rules that we live under right now, there are magic words that you are not allowed to say in certain contexts. Right now, there are words I can say that will have me never working again. And I want to address this issue of the N word directly. Tell me why someone is comfortable coming to you as a black man and saying that word. Tell me why you are comfortable having someone come to you and say that word. And I'm going to leave it at that, fam.
Sway, take us home.
I don't know if that question was directed at me. I don't think it was. I think it was probably at Gen Z, but I mean, I'll try to answer it. I don't think anyone's comfortable with it. I mean, it's just we're not going to basically put ourselves in a situation that it doesn't necessarily benefit us. If we'll tell them like we don't fuck with you, we don't like that, cool. If he keeps saying it, then we're not gonna like make it a bigger issue. We're just not gonna associate with him. You know, we can keep saying it, stop saying that till we're blue in the face, but we don't really have any power against him unless we want to get violence or some go to the authorities. But it's like that's a whole big issue that no one wants to get involved. So like I said, we don't have any control over these white boys or Hispanic men, or after they say it, that was a whole conversation with Kyle asked me about Hink. If Hink asked me to stop saying it, or respectfully, I would have to stop saying it if I still want to be associated with Hink. If I still want to be friends with Hink, or have any type of relationship with him in a sense that like business relationship, if mentorship, whatever it is, I have to respect his boundaries when it comes to certain things, and that's one of them. So I mean, I don't think Gen Z would allow white boys to just be saying it left and right and be still associated with him, or necessarily not say anything about it. I mean, I think that's what you guys feel about him, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. I don't believe that if you aren't black, you shouldn't say it. Shouldn't say it. You shouldn't say it at all. That goes for Hispanic men. That goes for whoever. If you're not black in any type of form, you come from a black mother or a black father who's actually black as hell, got some roots in them, then don't say it. I don't want you to say it at all. I don't think you should say it. If black people say it, it is what it is. I'm not going to get mad at them. They can say it. I would rather no one say it so we can just get rid of this whole word all in all, so we don't have to keep having this conversation, because this is an annoying conversation to have every once in a while. Let's just stop saying it all in all. I would get on board with that. If we can get a general consensus to just stop saying it. Everyone chill out. No one say it.
Never happen.
I would stop. I would get on board. I'm cool with that. But like I said, we have a hard time everybody getting on board with each other and having a general consensus of how we feel about certain things. Well, like I don't know who said it earlier, but you'll have 10 different black men and they'll all say different things about it. I am firm belief that if you aren't black, don't say it at all. And if you are black, try not to say it at all either, so you don't get this narrative out here that it's cool to say it.
But we don't. My thing is, we don't have smoke for any other race that says it except white people. Literally.
Nah, I mean, we probably don't have smoke for maybe the Hispanics, but if you're not any type of
there's Asian Crips right now with music that has over 1 million views saying the N-word, and they're not canceled. They still on YouTube. Nobody has called for them to be demonetized or be deplatformed. Every other race has a nigga pass essentially. But we only have smoke for when white people say it, even if they're not saying it in a derogatory context. That's my point. But I'm a coon for saying that.
That's not true, bro.
I mean, it is true. Look at what we mobilize for.
Bro, I'm in Texas, bro. Plenty of Hispanic people.
You're one man.
You keep on saying one man, but you just named a group that I never heard of or never seen. So how I'm supposed to say something or do something about it? So like you throwing out these general. Like
you could get online and
like
push a movement.
You
could get online and mobilize a movement
against Asian Crips.
Against Asian Crips, yeah, or Hispanic gang members who say it all the time.
We're gonna mobilize against Hispanic gang members. This is what you're asking, gang members and Crips.
Bro,
you're asking us to mobilize against these.
I'm just telling you who's saying it. I'm just telling you who's saying it.
Asian Crips and Hispanic gang members.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to. Can I finish? Can I finish?
But those 2 points are ridiculous.
I never said, oh, I want you to do that. I'm telling you that the reason that we mobilize against white people is because right now it's open season for them. Like you can pretty much say anything about a white person and you're not going to get any backlash.
I mean, I agree with that.
Hey,
too.
look,
I can call them the C word. I can say white people don't season their food. I can say white people this, white people that, and
someone please think of
what you keep leaving out is that they create that word to be negative intent.
They didn't create the word. They didn't create the word. That word has Spanish origin. So
listen, man, they use white people use the word. I've written about this. White people
said they using a negative
you
intent.
said they created it. You said they created the word.
All right.
They didn't create
I'm
the
talking
word.
about the intent. I'm talking about the negative intent of the word, bro.
Yes.
Like you just want to nitpick. Like you can do that all you want, but you
Joe
hear what
Rogan
I'm
didn't
saying.
have negative intent when he said
I'm
the
not
word.
talking about Joe Rogan, bro.
Now
I don't listen to the man
you're
at
arguing
all.
a couple different points, man.
I'm not listening to the man. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I'm talking about you said white men. You said white men. You didn't say Joe Rogan.
Have you ever been called the N-word by a white man?
White men put negative. White men put negative intent on the word, brother. That's simple. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I get that.
That's why we
That's
don't
not the
want
point
them
I'm
to say it.
arguing.
That's why they get the most heat.
White people are always going to get the most heat for the word since they use the word to dehumanize us. If you're
I
going
don't
to use it
disagree
against
with
the
that.
culture of people that you used it in the past to dehumanize and make us seem less than, that we weren't even a human being by basically calling us that. We were a dog at that point. You owned us. Like, using that word as a white person, you should understand that we're still going to have that negative connotation about it, regardless of how you feel about it. You know, we're going to still feel like that you
Hold
say.
up. So you think? I got to challenge you on that. So do Jewish people got the same care if you call them a K word, whether you're German or you're black? Do they care any less if it's black or German?
Nope. You getting canceled either way.
So what are we talking about right now?
I
You gotta
don't
keep the
even.
same energy.
The thing is, I don't even think a lot of black people know that word. I didn't know what that word until Miles Leonard or Miles Turner situation brought up. I don't know it. I don't think about it. I never brought it up. If anything, I mean, it's the same word as a fucking thing you fly in the sky. I was like, what the hell is this? What does it even mean? I just know that it's a derogatory term, and I don't even say it regardless. So
I mean, I
that's
hear
a
you,
little
but
bit
if they,
different. Because when
but
we
I hear
still
you, but if
say
you
the
say it
N-word
though,
every day,
it doesn't matter if you know the word. It's the fact of the matter that if any race uses that word, they're going to be canceled. If black people use the N-word or any other race uses that word, they're not going to be
using a
canceled.
word
Only white
that
people.
we keep trying to equate the N-word to all these other derogatory terms, but we're not holding any accountability on ourselves for using it every goddamn day, for putting it in music, for popularizing the word in a way that now it's global.
But
So
you're equating the N-word. You're equating the N-word with negativity based off of the skin color of somebody.
No, I'm basing the N-word based off of how it came about in using in the context in America amongst whites and black. And when you ask why are white people going to get more heat for it, I explained it to you. Because the way they used it in the past 100, 150 years, it's been used as a word to dehumanize us. And regardless of how advanced and woke we are as black people, me and you, regardless, if we hear a white person say it, our stomach is going to cringe, our face is going to cringe. We want to initially punch him in the face, but we know we can't. So we're going to check him on it. And if he's not, we're going to keep moving about our day. Because we grew up understanding, seeing the narrative that we're in jail, we're down low, or whatever. So we're not trying to push that narrative where we're this negative, angry, something to be feared or something not to have around, and you can't work with us. And so that's why we move the way we move, and that's why they think you're Uncle Tom, is because you are trying to work with white people more than they are when it comes to this word.
I'm not trying to work with it. I'm just saying keep that same energy. If you don't want other people to use a word, then we have to, as a community, stop using that word.
We agree with that.
So that's my whole point. But I'm an Uncle Tom because I say that.
Young Bloods. Let me put the challenge out there right now. Let's stop today.
That's fine. I have no problem with that.
I mean, the year is due. We could easily get us stop using that word as a movement. I mean, if that's what we're going to be doing, then I feel like that
Nobody makes you use those words. It's a choice. You choose to use those words, and if you choose not to, then there you are.
But the people who we prop up in our culture are going to continue to use those words.
Oh man, you gonna bring up you bring it every time we come up with a solution. You bring up some more bull crap, bro. He just came up with some
Gen
kind of solution.
Gen Z, this is my question from earlier.
This is what I was saying earlier. Time, so you ain't saying nothing not damn positive about your people since you got in this damn chat. We gave a positive damn solution to the problem.
And I said I have no problem with that.
And you came with some negativity, bro. You
I
ain't
said I have no problem with that.
positive about your own people. And that's why people calling you the damn names they calling you in the chat. Because every time we talk about our people, your face turn up, fam. We know what they do when we see one, dog.
That's not true. That's not
It
true.
is true. That's all you've been doing the whole time.
No, it's not. I'm just arguing the point that y'all are giving the power to a word based off of somebody's skin color. What does that have to do?
I'm not giving the power to the word. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm telling you
Then let's make a
that we prop up.
Black Gen Z mindset. No. Don't worry about the people we prop up. Stop supporting them people. Stop listening to them. Stop downloading them. Stop following them. Do what you have to do. If you don't agree with what somebody's saying, don't partake with them. Don't invest in them.
I mean,
let's stop the word there. Black Gen, we gonna do it. Me and you gonna make a pact.
I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. Yeah,
we could do it online. We could do a cyber handshake. Mm-hmm. Can we do that, young black man?
I don't know if you want a handshake with Uncle Tom, right?
Look at
I'll do it.
Hey,
y'all the ones came with the ad hominem.
Look at man. Look at man. One name. Look at man. I shake hands with the enemy. You have to. You got to make deals with the enemy. That's what I would call Uncle Tom an enemy. I'm not saying you in particular. No, dog. Calm down, man. Calm down, big brother.
Well, we're gonna end it here. A lot has been said. You know, a lot of ideas have been said. A lot of what's been talked about are very valid points all the way around. Gen Z, you're not wrong. A lot of your points you made, you are correct. You're not wrong in that some of the things that Black folk allow to have happen, or some of the things that we're upset about, Black people have allowed to happen. So as much as we want stuff to stop, to Hink's point, I think if we stop first, then we'll be able to be the leaders for everyone else. So again, this is the Lapeef Network. We're going to keep an eye on how the whole situation unfolds, if there's going to be any kind of change across the board. If we all want to start on this panel today with stop saying certain language that we don't want other people to say, I think we need to do that. Otherwise, maybe we should just mind our business, get our resources up, pull everything together, and purchase our respect, as was so eloquently stated by PS in the comments here. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, JR.
All right, we appreciate y'all tuning in to Lapeef Sports. Catch us next Sunday. Amir is live streaming tonight, you guys. Amir is live streaming. You guys should see that posted right now. But tonight Amir is going to be talking about every man is alpha compared to you. Every man is alpha compared to you. So make sure you guys tune in. That's 7:30 Central Time. See you guys later.
Black Gen Z, I love you, my brother. Man. Stay strong, no matter what.
You have a good Sunday.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.